Hello guys, thank you so much and welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan, also known as the Faithful Fibromyalgia Warrior, and in my videos I like to share about my journey following the ketogenic diet and also my journey of faith, coming back to God and restoring my relationship with Him and living as a Christian. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you will know that I am following a ketogenic diet. And the easiest way to describe it as far as what it is, because some people think it's like low carb, high fat, and that's not necessarily true. It is definitely low carb, no more than 20 grams total per day, and moderate protein that comes with fat. So you don't have to necessarily go out and eat a block of butter or a great big chunk of, fat off the side of steak. It's whatever the fat comes with the protein, that's what I eat. So sausages, streaky bacon, egg yolks, fatty ground beef. Sometimes like at Christmas, it'll be the dark meat off of the turkey, so like the drumstick or the wing, because it's got more fat in it. And the reason why this is important is because fat is satiating. It helps you feel fuller for longer so that we're not constantly feeling like we got to eat every couple of hours, which is what happens when we eat high carb, low fat.
Sorry, that's not too bit.
Okay, guys, so as I was saying, we want to keep things, if you're eating a carbohydrate-based diet, which is what most people do eat, unfortunately, these days, it means that we are constantly, our body burns through it so quickly, it constantly needs more. So it never actually gets to the stored body fat we have. Now, the thing about switching to the ketogenic diet is if you keep eating the same amount of carbs as you always have, okay, and you add on fatty protein on top of that, then it's not going to work, okay? Because the body is still going to go for the carbs because it's easier, it's quicker, it burns faster. So all you're going to do in that case is you're just going to be adding fat to the stored fat you have already. For it to work, you have to lay off the carbs, as my favorite YouTuber likes to say, and that's Casey Durango at Go Keto with Casey. I'll put her YouTube link down below. She's fantastic. The thing is if you try to add fat and you're already eating a high carb diet, which, what does that become? It converts into sugar, and whatever the body can't use right away, whatever the liver can't process anymore, it gets stored as fat on our bodies. And of course, the reason why you're watching these videos, I imagine, is because you're trying to find a way to burn body fat. Right? So that's the first key, is you don't even necessarily have to eat more protein, but you may need to eat more sources of protein that come with more fat in it. So instead of eating, chicken breast without the skin, that, the extra lean meat, which, by the way, something to keep in mind is that whenever we eat something, our blood sugar does spike. Okay, that's how the body functions. It does that, so the body's like, oh, there's going to be something going into this spot right here, and it's going to be food, and it's going to give us fuel of some sort. We need to be ready. Now, scientific studies have shown and proven that carbohydrates bring the highest spike in blood sugar. Hence the reason why, for example, people who have type 2 diabetes or even type 1 diabetes have to really, 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 really be careful about their carbohydrate intakes, and not just sugar in their drinks. This is, by the way, as you can see, it's from Starbucks. It's a cappuccino with almond milk, which has no sugar in it and no carbs. So that's my treat for the day. Now, what I was going to say is that with regards to carbohydrates, you have to lay off the carbs. Okay, as soon as you start to lay off the carbs, your body is designed to go, hey, wait a second, where's my fuel source going to come from? And the amazing thing is that if we lay off the carbs, the body knows to start dipping into our reserves, into our fat reserves that are already on our bodies, right? And that's amazing. One of the things, the reasons why we choose protein that has a bit higher fat content is because, one, fat is satiating, okay? The fat itself will raise our blood sugar levels, but minimally. Protein, if you eat too much of the lean protein especially, it's nowhere near what the carbohydrates will do as far as spiking it, but it will go up a bit, and certainly a bit higher than fat will. So that's why if you're eating, say, streaky bacon, so you've got the pork and the fat, it kind of balances itself out. In other words, your blood sugar levels may spike, but it'll be relatively minimal. Okay, so as long as your blood sugar levels stay level, then your body is functioning and it is not craving more fuel, right? Now, like I say, if you want more specifics, more scientific info on this, Casey Durango at Go Keto with Casey has some great videos. Also, I would suggest that you may want to check out Dr. Jason Fung, just for some real sciencey type stuff. And he has a book out called Breaking the Obesity Code, and he uses, now for him it's more about the intermittent fasting, eating windows and so on. Don't worry about that, I'm not going to go into that. But he uses that as well as the ketogenic or low carb, moderate protein, and slightly higher fat diet to help people reverse type 2 diabetes, Hashimoto symptoms, thyroid issues, so it can be really, really helpful. Now, that's just if you want a more scientific approach, because, I know it works for me. This is what motivates me to share. It has majorly helped me in my life. Okay, in 2020, between mid-June and let's say mid-October, I lost almost 60 pounds. I did not exercise or work out. I can't because my fibromyalgia and my chronic pain limits my mobility. And yet, I simply changed what I ate and the weight came off. Now that was amazing, okay? I'm wearing a size 10 UK, which is equivalent to a US size 6. I have never been this thin that I can remember. Maybe when I was like 11 or 12 before puberty hit. Okay, so it worked for me. More importantly, my inflammation has been dramatically reduced. My chronic pain has been dramatically reduced. It is not gone. It will never be gone fully, and I accept that. However, it has become manageable. My brain fog has lifted. I've been given the ability to even have the wherewithal to make videos like this, right? To write posts on my blog. It's not every day or every week. I wish it was. Sometimes I'm just too tired to do it. And that's just one of the things about having fibromyalgia. Yay! Along with, gut issues like IBS and so forth. But I am sharing not just because it has helped me to lose this weight, which was amazing, okay, and honestly miraculous in itself. I honestly believe it was something that God led me to. So it is a blessing from God. Absolutely. Because I lived for 30 years bulimic, either binging and purging or severely restricting my caloric intake. I totally screwed up my, my basal metabolic rate, the ability to burn off calories. I screwed that up. I didn't think I could ever lose weight again. And certainly, what was I going to do with such limited mobility? I thought I was trapped, and yet this worked. And I'm not going to keep it to myself. I'm not making any money from this. I'm not even looking to make money from this. I simply, if I can help somebody improve their health, and if that includes losing weight, fantastic. But even if that just means, wow, my triglycerides are where they should be, my cholesterol is down where it should be, then that's amazing. If it can help reduce perhaps the medication you might have to take, or at least make the medication far more effective for you, then wow, how great is that? And you know what the thing is the keto diet has not just helped me with the brain fog, but it has helped me so much because I was in such a cloud of forgetfulness, like in a fugue state. Um, Now I have meaningful prayer time. I have deep dives into the scriptures and what I think are these incredible insights. Now, they may not be. They may just be something everyone else is already aware of, but there's things that I'm discovering for the first time. And I've been a Christian since 1993. So, that's amazing to me. That's why I share this. Because I feel like I'm so clear-minded that I can see some of the things that perhaps God has planned for me. And it's great. And you know what? Hey, if I can share that with other Christians who are out there who might be struggling, so be it. The other thing is that one of the key things, and I've sort of touched on it in other videos, is that I do struggle with severe anxiety, clinically diagnosed, okay, in 2012. It was a major trigger for my bulimia and my binging and purging episodes, and fed my insecurities about my appearance and all this kind of stuff. Even though I was given antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication back in 2015, although the depression lessened. So 2015 was a year after my spinal injury, which set off my fibromyalgia and led to everything else, limited mobility and so on and so forth, and blah, blah, blah. It just is what it is. And for those of you who are thinking, well, why didn't you pray for it to go away? How could you thank God if you have all this stuff you live with? And the answer to that is, I know that sometimes we have to go through challenges or suffering so that in the end, ultimately, God can use it for good. And so here I am able to sympathize and empathize with other people who have fibromyalgia, who have chronic pain, who have suffered back injuries, who have gut issues, IBS, gut issues like leaky gut, who have IBS, who have eating disorder issues, or addictions to that behavior, because it becomes addictive. Measuring everything you eat, tracking every single calorie, etc. Now, there are some people out in the space who will advise that you set up a my fitness app tracker. Now, it's not evil, it's not wrong, and if you don't struggle with eating disorder habits or thoughts, go right ahead, because in the beginning, it's a brand new way of eating. And if that helps you to make sure that you're not going over your daily allowance for carbs, and to see how easily you can pack the carbs into your diet without even thinking about it. And I'm not talking about just cookies and chips and bread. I mean starchy vegetables like potatoes and carrots. Everything has carbs in it, basically. And it adds up quickly. So if you need that to make sure that you're not going over that limit, great. But from my own experience, if you struggle at all with being obsessive over counting calories and macros and tracking every little bite and turning it into an obsessive game like you would with an eating disorder, then please don't do that. Please don't do that. That's what happened to me. It was around September, and I had been using my fitness app to track how many calories burned. And then it was like, oh, I wonder how many, because, things like laying in the sun, being out in the sun in the summertime, actually, you can burn calories doing that, which is awesome. But I wasn't yet close to God. And my focus quickly became, and I can see it now, although I didn't see it at the time, my focus became, I wonder how long I can go without eating. I wonder how thin I can get without trying. I wonder, and right then I knew that I was falling into my old habits. That even though I'd already lost almost 50 pounds, it wasn't enough. I had to lose that much more. I had to get that bit thinner. I had to get, you know what I mean? I had to cut out that much more. And at that point, I was strictly carnivore, which let me say that there's nothing wrong with that. If you eat nothing but fish and seafood, I mean, I hate fish. It's gross. But if that's your thing and that's how you want to get your protein, go for it. My only warning to you would be you'll have to eat a lot of it to get enough calories in your body. Because if you're under eating, you're not going to fix your your basal metabolic rate is going to get totally out of whack, and you're not going to be able to lose the weight. Okay, if you're needing to lose weight, and let's be honest, if you are overweight, losing weight can only help improve your overall health. Okay, ease up joint pain. I'm 49, and honestly, up until that point, especially in the early summer of 2020, I had the aches and pains of somebody who was 40 years older than me. And it was awful. It was really, truly awful. My other advice to you is, please, if you start to feel better, which I guarantee you will, please don't just suddenly go off your medications. Don't quit cold turkey. Please maintain your medications. If for example, you are a type 2 diabetic and you have to take metformin, speak to your GP. Make sure that your amounts are accounted for properly, because you don't want to then become hypoglycemic and pass out, because that would be terrible. And you should never ever stop taking your medications cold turkey, especially for those of us who take pain medication, or in my case, I take sertraline, which is an antidepressant, and you should never just not take those medications, because the withdrawal symptoms are horrific, and you will be dope sick and in pain and agony, and it is really bad for your, just overall for your system. So even if you feel like, yeah, I got this, I'm feeling great, I don't think I need this medication, please, as I've said in another video, please come off of your medications gradually with doctor's supervision, okay? Or a nurse practitioner, whoever it is you speak with, please do it with supervision, okay? Especially if we're talking like antidepressants or things like metformin, as I said, to help you with your insulin and blood sugar levels because you're a type 2 diabetic. Never ever just stop taking that stuff. It is dangerous. Okay, that's my public announcement out there. Now, having said that, I have been ketogenic for almost 18 months. I feel great. There have been moments where I have been tempted. I have. But the one thing I have kept thinking, well, two things, okay? And the first thing is not mine. It comes from Go Keto with Casey, and she has, I think, t-shirts and stickers and mugs that say, I am stronger than a cookie. Now for me, when I'm in the kitchen and I've gone maybe longer than I should have before eating, and I will be tempted to say, have a bit of peanut butter, or if there's mixed nuts in the house because my husband and kids eat them, I'll be like, okay, I'm stronger than cashews. I'm stronger than peanut butter. And it's a mantra that I've been repeating to myself. And then I remembered, I'm stronger than anything because I have God. So when I remember that I've got the Holy Spirit with me, and I stop and I go, no, I'm stronger. And I also remember, what Casey had said. It helps me to stay away from the things that I know are not going to help. Okay? If you slip up, don't beat yourself up. We're human. It can happen. The key is keep going. Just get up and keep going, and if it seems daunting to get started, lay off the carbs. That's the key, right? That is the key. Lay off the carbs. If you need to take a few days because you figure you got to phase yourself off, I guess go for it. I mean, it's not for me to judge. I had to make the decision, zero carbs. For me, with all my gut issues and everything, I had to, because I simply, my body cannot process them. So for me, because of my irritable bowel syndrome and my leaky gut, these are the things I do not have. No nuts, no seeds, no legumes, no pulses, no cereals, no grains. No vegetables, no fruit. No processed carbohydrates, no sugars of any kind. Zip. No sweeteners. Zero. So that means no dessert. No side dishes. I'm all about just the protein. And you know what? There have been friends who have said, well, why don't you just have some of this? I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm fine. Thank you. I only eat the protein. My body can't process the rest of it. And I just tell them the truth. It's like, you know what? For me, I have gut issues. I have sensitivities. Like, I'm highly sensitive to gluten. I have a moderate allergy to garlic. I can't have any spicy foods. So it's a combination of leaky gut, irritable bowel, and just the fact that my body cannot process any of this stuff. And I'm not going to lie to you and pretend like, oh yeah, it was so easy. I just stopped and I was fine. No, I'm not going to lie. It was a challenge. And there are times when, honestly speaking, sometimes it's still a challenge. And I have to literally say to myself under my breath, I am stronger than whatever's in front of me. I am stronger than these chicken wings. I am stronger than, because usually at that point, they're chicken wings that have barbecue sauce or garlic on them. So I can't have them. Even though they smell great. I can't try it. I can't touch it. You know? It's kind of like as a kid, right? When someone tells you don't touch the stove, it's hot. And you know it's hot. You know it's dangerous because that's what you were told. But, oh my goodness, it's still, that makes you almost more tempted to touch it in the first place, right? Sometimes it's like that. And you may have those moments. If you're lucky, you won't. Okay? If you're lucky, you won't. But if you have those moments, saying stuff like that might help. You know, just, I am stronger than this. Now, I am not stronger than cashews or peanut butter or mixed nuts or desserts. I'm not stronger than that because of anything I'm doing. I'm stronger than that because I have the Spirit in me, because as a Christian, God is with me. So any strength I have, that's from God, okay? I can't do this by myself. And if this sounds like a 12-step program, or, you know, or someone says, you know, I cannot overcome this addiction or this challenge on my own, I need help, well, good, because it's the truth. I can't. I am not doing this by myself. This is God working in my life. Honestly, I do not believe in coincidences at all. Everything happens for a reason. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at with all of this. And I believe God allowed me to go through the physical, medical challenges I have, and even the pain and the inflammation and everything else. Why? So that I would look for something to help me, so that I could then help other people. At least I hope that's why I do this. I hope I'm helping somebody out there. And like I said, I try to be upbeat and joyful because, wow, I've got God. Life is great as a Christian. Life has challenges. Not gonna lie. I have challenges like everyone else does. But you know what? At the end of the day and at the end of life, there's eternity waiting. And that's amazing. So, anyways, I just had to share that. You know, that's how I'm feeling. Joyful and thankful and hopeful. So, I know I go all over the map. I spider web. Not my own term. That's something I heard at a conference. And basically, I will start here, go here, over here, down here, and eventually come back to here. The other thing I wanted to share with you guys is there are some influencers out there who will insist that you must eat organ meats on the ketogenic diet. Now, whether you are carnivore, which by the way is a subset of the ketogenic diet, okay? Whether you eat them or not, it's up to you. It's a personal choice. You do not have to. You can be just as successful without eating them, okay? If you decide you want to, because some people love, like, say, steak and ale or steak and kidney pie, just without the pie crust. Go for it. For me, I've shared before, I tried to fry up liver, chicken livers when I first started on the diet, and it never turned out right. The texture was always kind of mushy, and it was gross, okay? The first couple of times I tried it, it was gross. And I realized the big problem I had at the time was I wasn't rinsing it off. I wasn't marinating it in sauces and seasonings. Basically, you have to make it taste like anything but liver. And then it's edible. For me, anyways. I just had this craving for liver a week or so ago. And so I've been buying packets of chicken livers, chopping it all up into little tiny like pieces like that, rinsing it all, and then marinating it in a bit of barbecue sauce and mild seasons and spices, salt, a bit of soy sauce, and some Worcestershire sauce, and then just leaving it for a few hours, and then chucking it in the frying pan with some butter, and then adding in the minced beef and the bacon and the egg yolks, and it tastes amazing. And that's what I've added to my dinner time or evening meal. I don't put it in both meals, but it's been delicious. And overall, I think it's just helped me get extra nutrients that maybe I wasn't getting before. You know, not getting out as much as I used to. And of course, all the vitamins and nutrients that you might get from being out in the sun when the sun disappears or you're indoors because of COVID. Liver's a good way to get some of that back. But like I said, I would have been just fine if I wasn't, because for almost 18 months, I wasn't eating organ meats. After my first few failed attempts at cooking it properly, I just gave up. I couldn't be asked. I had it once in a restaurant in September. And of course, they did it properly. So if you want to take a go at trying to eat organ meats, I'd recommend liver because it tastes the least organy, if you will, from what I've been told. And like I say, when you buy, I would start with chicken livers because it tastes the closest to the actual animal, tastes close to chicken, not as gamey. When you get it, dump it into a strainer, rinse it thoroughly, put it into a plastic tub, season it however you feel, and then leave it in the fridge for a few hours at least. But I would divide it up so I'd have 3 or 4 days worth out of the one package. And it's actually really tasty. It just, I don't know, just adds a little something extra to my evening meal. But I will say, and I know Casey says this as well, and also another YouTuber I like, Carvivore Yogi, will add, you do not need to buy any meal plans, any kits, anything special to be successful on this diet. Lay off the carbs. Cut out the carbs and the starches. Yeah. Maybe increase your protein intake slightly. Make sure it's fattier. You know, fattier meats that come with the fat to help you be satiated. Start replacing the carbs that you eat with healthier choices so that your body will start to want to burn fat, right? It will burn the stored body fat for energy. And that's how you lose the weight, if that's what you need to do. But it also helps reduce your swelling, inflammation, chronic pain, headaches, brain fog, all of that. I'm not going to promise you that it will all disappear. Because chances are, if you're suffering like me with fibromyalgia, as I say, fibromyalgia, Raynaud's, IBS, leaky gut, and whatever else, anxiety, depression, going ketogenic is not going to necessarily fix everything completely. But I can tell you from my own experience, it made a huge difference. It massively helped. Okay? It made a massive help to my life. And again, God led me to find the ketogenic diet, and then following it allowed me to find him again. And the two go together, in my opinion. So this could be really helpful for yourself or somebody else you know. I hope it has been. I mean, that's why I do this. I really hope this has been helpful. If you guys want any more information, or you want to, maybe read anything else that I've done, I do have a blog. It's at www.true-disciple.com, The Faithful Fibromyalgia Warrior. I hope you'll check it out. Also, I have written a fiction book that is on Amazon Kindle. You can get it free if you have Amazon Prime for Kindle Unlimited. It's called Darby, A Tale of Faith and Healing. And some of it's loosely based on some of my own life experiences, finding God, overcoming an eating disorder, and so forth. And the rest of it, of course, I just let my imagination run wild. But again, be great if you would read it, and maybe it'll help, more so about this young woman who finds true faith, but also finds recovery from an eating disorder. So if you think this could help you or someone you know and love, please feel free to point them in that direction. Like I say, I don't do this for money at all. No interest in making money from it. Don't need to. I just hope that what I can share is helpful to as many people as possible. Thank you guys so much for your unwavering and wonderful support. I noticed there are some new subscribers. Thank you. Please feel free to share any of these videos with anyone you think it might help on whatever platform you choose. I don't mind. Feel free to share it. Feel free to leave comments if you guys have any questions or suggestions or topics that you might want me to try to cover. Please feel free to put them in the comments below. And I am hoping to be able to make content more regularly. Again, if you suffer with fibro like I do, that's not always possible, depending on how pain levels are that day. But I am certainly trying to be making content for you guys as regularly as possible. And I hope it helps. And I just really appreciate your support. You guys have been fantastic. And it has been a joy and a blessing to share my story and help as many as possible. So please continue to share this with anybody you think it will help. That's it, guys. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I did have a bit of a ramble, so sorry about that. But I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you in the next video, which I hope will be coming sooner than later. Thanks again, you guys. I appreciate it. Bye for now.